How's it going, cool kids and campers? This is Lee of Old Gaming here with your monthly deck tech for MTG. This month will be the White Little Pup from the Champions of Kamigawa, ISAMARU, Hound of Konda. Or, as me and my friends like to call him, IsamaRRRRUUUUU. During this deck tech, we're going to talk about a lot of different things you can do with the deck. The first thing and the favorite thing to do is, of course, just that perfect little fun synergy. You can play stuff like Animal Sanctuary, different dogs. You can have as much fun as you want. Sky's the limit. One important thing about all commander decks is making sure you have that mana ramp. Here are some of the best examples that I think that are colorless. They can go in every commander deck. Burnished Heart slept on way too much. He was like LeBron James before he was known as the king. Now we have some white mana ramping. These are all super important. You gotta have at least some. I know some are hard to get a hold of, but if you can get a few of them, the deck is gonna get running. Now we're gonna get into some of the lands for IsamaRRRRUUUUU. These right here, they synergize the best. Nykthos, almost mandatory in all monocolor decks, definitely mono white. Hall of the Heliod. You need that in any deck that's going to run a lot of enchantments. Next are going to be commander staples. Temple of the False God, you got to have a copy in every commander deck. Next, Rogue Passage. You need that on any deck that you need to swing and hit hard. And of course, if you're playing commander, you got this bad boy. Next, we're going to be talking about slowing down your opponent. IsamaRRRRUUUUU, it can hit hard, but if they kill him a few times, you need to be able to slow them down. Authority, Blind Obedience, and Aura. It's all great. Ghostly Prison, just to add another one. Now, it doesn't have to be just enchantments. You can also throw in some creatures. Maybe throw in a creature for an extra blocker and to slow your opponent down. But the best one of all, Sphere of Safety. No elf deck can get around it unless they can destroy it. And what are you going to do if IsamaRRRRUUUUU isn't buffed up? Just like before, enchantments are great in mono white, and the auras are where to go. IsamaRRRRUUUUU can hit for lethal sometimes turn 5 if you give them the right auras. The idea of it all, not to curve too high, but to keep the curve low enough, you can win with only 4 lands in play. And if you got to, you can play this. Now, auras are nice, but the downfall for them is if your opponents get rid of IsamaRRRRUUUUU, they go as well. Best way to get around that is to suit them up. That way they have to get rid of everything. The boots, the swords, and Prowler Helm. Prowler Helm is slept on way too often. Make sure you buff your boy up. Let him hit for twice. Make him indestructible. But if you have to do this, do that. But Godsend, one of the greatest white artifact equipments out there. Next thing is the white card synergy. I understand some of these might be hard to get a hold of, and you don't have to get a hold of all of them. Sometimes you just have to decide which route you can go based off of what cards you have. If you want to build this deck from scratch, maybe decide before you start buying them all. If auras is your thing, get the creatures that synergize with aura. If equipment is your thing, get those creatures that synergize with equipment. With white and artifacts, sky's the limit. There's so much you can do with IsamaRRRRUUUUU. Not to talk down on my boy IsamaRRRRUUUUU, but the man is vanilla, but he is efficient. He knows what he needs to do. You need to play him. Turn 1, you play that first plains and you play IsamaRRRRUUUUU. Turn 2, you're swinging for 2. This is a deck built for 1v1s. You can take almost anyone on. If you want to play the long game, maybe don't play all those slow cards. Maybe not play the hate. But IsamaRRRRUUUUU can get the job done. This next batch is going to be those must-have white EDH cards. Saracen, if you're running white, not bad to have for opening hand. Everything else, it's all based off what you want to build. Mangara, it's great. It doesn't slow your opponent down, it just helps you keep up. Hushbringer, almost the same way. Now, I know this next one is new, but don't sleep on it. It's a lot better than a lot of people think. One way into tricking your opponent to not pop IsamaRRRUUUUU too soon is playing those anthems. They make them look like the threat and IsamaRRRRUUUUU a little bit less. Another great thing about white, like I said earlier, those enchantments. This all helps Sphere of Safety. If you don't want to buff him or you can't buff him, maybe allow him hit for twice. Allow you to equip stuff at flash speed. You can always do stuff in response or at the end of the other person's turn. Use that mana right before it untaps. Give him vigilance, let him block. But one thing every white deck needs is that spot removal. Banishing Light and Oblivion Ring are must-haves in almost all white EDH decks. Do not think people will not have things you need to remove. Next and upcoming are instants and sorceries. I'm not a big instant and sorcery fan, but these are a few that I would run in IsamaRRRUUUUU. IsamaRRRUUUUU is a mono white deck and needs help getting lands. It also needs help from protection. If you can protect them turn 2, if they're going to try to kill him and not put down a creature, this might help you just enough just to get that little bit of extra damage. Silence right before you think your opponent's going to do something crazy. Return to dust, more spot removal. These are all going to help him equip. They're going to get him bigger, buffer, and hit harder. Next up are the Planeswalkers. IsamaRRRUUUUU doesn't need Planeswalkers, but if you want to, the Gideons and a few of the Johnnies are not bad to have. IsamaRRRUUUUU can take as much help as you want to give him. Just some final thoughts before we go. Remember to get them big, get them fast, and get it done. IsamaRRRUUUUU can do a lot of the work for you. All you got to do is suit them up, buff them up, and get a swinging. Thank you for stopping by. Please remember, hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Put in the comments your next month's request for another deck tech. Thank you, everyone. Bye.